All right, welcome to another edition of Slams and Jams. And this week, we are focusing on the jams because we got a little survey time. We're going to do, we got a list of bands, and we're going to tell you which one of those bands or how many of those bands we saw in concert live. I am Bombshell Billy.
I am Eddie Carpenter.
And you see another man on the screen. And that guy, you pointed the wrong way. That's the list over there. The man on the screen right there, he is the Metal Bob to my Bombshell Billy. One of my besties, Bob Staffa. There he is right there. Bobby, when we saw this list, we were going to do it.
I spelled it wrong.
Bob Staffa. Staffa. When we saw this list that we were going to do it, I showed it to Ed last week. And I immediately said, we got to get Bobby on for this one because this is right up his alley.
There's
right
probably
up his alley.
10.
There's what?
I'll tell you right now. There's probably 10 that I haven't seen.
Really? Out of that whole list? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe a little less.
That's great. And then, of course, we have the producer. You know him. Some kid Nick. Nasty Nick. Slick Nick. He's incognito this week. He's in the back. He's slithering in the background, making sure everything's going good, looking good. All right, let's pull up the list. Let's get started. What's that? You're chopping up a little bit.
I thought CM Punk was on.
That is CM Punk. Just just look in his eyes.
That's Nick though. It says Nick.
It is incognito. All right, I'm pulling up the list. You guys got the list pulled up, or do you need it pulled up, or what's up?
I got it.
You could probably flash it up there on the screen and show them what's going on.
Did I just make the list?
Show everybody you have made the list. All right, let's go down. Well, should we just go down the list and say what we saw and what we did? I've never seen Rush. I'll tell you that. Be nice probably to see him.
I've never seen Rush.
No.
Yes, saw Rush Primus opening in Rochester.
Really?
Jeez. Like you just saw like two of the greatest bass players of all time.
Yeah, right.
At the same
exactly.
time.
Yeah, it just happened to be in the building at the same time.
Joey Belladonna was there hanging out.
Nice. my drink of the week, by the way, the Dr. Pepper strawberry and cream, zero sugar.
Dude, I've got one of those in my fridge right now.
Perfect.
I already drank mine.
Testament. I don't remember when or where, but I did see them at some point. By the way, this list. When I saw this list and was going over my choices, I was telling Ed this earlier. I said, most of these concerts I'm going to go over here, I saw with you. I saw with Bob.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. So
I said the same thing. I'm looking down going, okay, that's easy. We went to that one. We went to that one. We went to that
one. Yeah. Testament. You obviously, if I saw Testament, I was with you because I wouldn't have gone without you.
No Fred.
Huh?
No for Ed on Testament?
No Testament?
No, never seen him.
Seen them several times. I saw them at the Lost Horizon with Annihilator and Wrathchild America.
That sounds familiar. I think that's what it was.
I saw them at the Lost Horizon on their own. I saw them open up for Iron Maiden in Rochester.
Jesus.
And I saw them play with Black Sabbath, Alice Cooper, and Motorhead in Long Island.
Spoiler alert. Those other bands that he's seen.
Yeah. I would think that I would have seen them at some point, but I know I'd remember them. But the bands that I have seen, I kept thinking, how is Testament not opened up for these guys?
I know they've been up for a lot of people. Oh, I saw them with Exodus too in Niagara Falls. That was my last time seeing them.
I know one of the guys' name in the band is Chuck. Right?
Chuck Billy.
Yeah, him.
Chuck Billy, the vocalist, and he's got a pick. It says Chuck pick. I have one.
Nice.
I should have brought my picks for show and tell. Oh.
Cinderella. I've seen Cinderella. Saw him at the Lost Horizon, didn't we? Did we see him at the Lost Horizon?
Speaking of Joey Belladonna, who I feel is going to come up a lot in this conversation, he got up in Jumpin' Jack Flash with them.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, that's one band another one I didn't see that I regret because
never saw Cinderella.
No, it's pretty sad, right?
Wow.
I had an opportunity to, and I didn't end up going. They were opening for somebody. like one of those 80s rock things, but it's probably like back in like the late 90s.
I know they
I
opened up at the War Memorial for Bon Jovi one time on the Slippery When
Nice.
Wet tour.
That was
They
before
were
my
great.
Before your time, yeah. Okay.
No, but I did see them. They opened up for David Lee Roth with Extreme. We were at that too.
Okay. Yes.
And they opened up for Motley Crue at the New York State Fairgrounds.
Cinderella did?
I believe Faster Pussycat was on the bill in their they were in their goth stage.
Oh my God, I saw them playing their goth thing.
Wow.
They came out, they were all like marching out with their freaking, I don't know if it was like
rocking out with their
I don't want to say the I don't know if it was like a swastika or not, but it was like something. It was something like that. And they had like Tammy came out with this like big coat on with these things around the arms. I was like, what the frig? What did they just beat up Faster Pussy? And they came out and they did this song. And all of a sudden after the end of the song, they took off their jackets and they had their like 80s gear on underneath, and they went right into like a song I knew. I'm like, what's happening in front of me right now?
I got
get the shit off.
Saw Cinderella and Crew on that one, I believe. Excuse me for the burp there, guys.
I Poison multiple times.
Wait,
Yeah,
you skipped one.
I did.
Nirvana.
Yeah. You know what? I'm looking at my list. I'm not looking at that list. Nirvana, I never saw. So
Nope.
No.
But I did open up for a Nirvana tribute band this past year. That was kind of cool.
That was
gets
it dumb?
a quarter of a check for that.
Was that dumb?
Yeah, quarter check.
Was that dumb?
They were pretty good actually. They're an awesome guys. Awesome.
There's actually a Nirvana band. There's a Nirvana tribute band called Dumb. That's why I was asking.
I've seen Foo Fighters and I've seen Chris Novoselic's band after Nirvana. So does that? I've seen 2/3.
Another quarter check.
Yeah. Yes. You get a 66. You see,
you get
a 66 and 2/3. Point on that one. No Nirvana for me either. Poison multiple times.
Yeah.
My first time, I remember my first time seeing them was at the War Memorial, and it was like in the front row. Somehow I don't know if it was like GA, I don't know if it was GA or whatever. I don't remember getting front row tickets, but I think it was GA or something. We were just like up there. I was like, okay.
It wasn't GA. Cool. We got tickets. We were with, I think Bone might have got, he was there with us for some reason.
Bone?
Oh,
Bone. I thought you said Bo, like Bo Bristol. I'm like, what?
Bo Duke.
Bo Duke.
We saw Poison together too, with Enough's Enough opening up.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I think they opened up when I saw them too, but it was at Darien Lake.
Yes,
it's like Enough's Enough, and there was maybe one other band.
Was it Darien Lake or Canandaigua?
Darien Lake.
Darien Lake. Okay, that's where we saw them with Karen.
Bill. Yes. Yep.
And the last time I saw Poison was a stadium tour.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, we just talked about that the other day. Yeah.
And I saw Richie Kotzen Poison.
Nice.
At Darien Lake.
Nice.
It's a rarity.
Faith No More. I don't know if I've seen them. I don't remember, to be honest. It must not have been earth shattering for me if I don't remember. But
well, I've seen all of his other bands except for Faith No More, because he's got like 6 projects that he works on now.
Tomahawk opened Tool, so I know you saw that.
Tomahawk. What was the other one? 3 of his bands opened up for Tool on one tour. I'm like, I didn't even know he had another band, much less all of these side projects he did. And they all kind of seemed the same to me, but what do I know?
I saw them at the Lost Horizon on the Real Thing tour.
Nice.
With it was the night that Gloria Estefan was on her way to Syracuse to do a show.
He told me this yesterday. Listen to this.
Got into a bus crash, and when it got to their song "Surprise You're Dead," they put it out to her. Pretty classless.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
To a packed Lost Horizon. Pretty classless.
And it happened that night.
Yeah.
Damn.
Wow.
She ended up having like 3 metal rods put in her back.
Jesus.
Or whatnot. She was in really bad shape. I mean, we almost did lose her.
Yeah.
Classless.
Thank God they made a comeback from that. Seriously. Def Leppard multiple times. They were really good. I saw them a few years ago when they played with. Hold on, it was Def Leppard, REO, and Tesla opening up, and Tesla got 7 tunes.
That was at
That's
the
all they
amp.
got was 7. So, yep, right at the amp. And Def Leppard sounded great, but they were tuned down like 2 steps. But whatever, that's fine. I don't care about that. So is Tesla. So I've seen Tesla a couple times since then, and they were amazing. Even though they're tuned down, who cares? I don't care.
Yeah.
I need to tune down now. My favorite Def Leppard.
Oh yeah, let's hear this.
My favorite Def Leppard show was Weedsport. Me and Mark Stagnita. We you know what I'm gonna say. we went a week straight. I remember in my room, we got some faded jeans, and we literally homemade the pour some sugar on me pants with all the rips all the way down the legs. now you go to Walmart right now and you could buy a pair of pants like that. We put we put hours into that shit. we did the rips, and we can't rip it open. We got to just make it frayed. And then we wore them. It was going to be cool. And then it fucking poured rain. It gushed rain during the show. They didn't stop
All
it.
time.
And you know what? You know what made that show the best? The only time I ever saw Europe play. Europe opened up for them, and it was fucking cool.
Europe and White Lion opened the show.
And funny because Melissa went to it. Obviously, we weren't together, but way back then. But we talk about it, and she goes, "The coolest thing is that me and Chrissy, her friend Chrissy Witz, they were up in the bleachers, and when Def Leppard was playing, and they had the laser lights going, and it was cutting through the rain. She said it was fucking incredible. It looked so awesome.
I was under a big the plastic that somebody brought, and they unrolled it into the stands, and like anybody that could get underneath it was underneath it.
Nice.
The whole show.
I'm gonna relive
They're
that.
all set. I don't remember it raining for Europe and for White Lion, just during Def Leppard.
As we speak, I can say that I have a feeling I'm gonna relive that tomorrow night, because tomorrow we're going to Hershey Park to see Post Malone and Jelly Roll, and there's 100% chance of rain for that show, and it's in a stadium. So okay, then here we go.
You should bring a roll of plastic.
Right,
You'd
and
be a
hold
hero
it open for
a lot of people.
Hold it open for anybody that can fit under it.
Yeah, go down to Home Depot and just grab a roll.
Thank you, sir. No, you thank Metal Bob for this.
Yeah.
It was all his idea.
It's
It reminded me of a funny story, actually. When we were in Sweden, Aaron Warden and Eric Wilson wanted to go to this like amusement park. I think it was like a Six Flags or something. And they're walking around, and there's a band playing, but there's not a whole lot of people there to see them. So they just walked up to the side of the stage, and they watched the band from the side of the stage. No one said a goddamn word to them. They just sat there and watched and watched. They're like, yeah, they're pretty good, you know. And as they turned to walk away, Eric looks at the drum set, and the bass drum has this giant lowercase e on it. And that's when he realized, like, holy shit, this is Europe. Europe's playing.
That's awesome.
And then he looks around and he's like, we're not supposed to be here. And he's like, we got to get out of here. Let's get the hell out of here. Let's go. And they just nonchalantly walked off. They said they walked out. The security guard opened the gate for him or whatnot. They just walked right away. And they were like, whew. Like,
wow, that's awesome.
They somehow just snuck on backstage at Europe they just said it was effortless. They just thought it was just a band playing, like, a local band or something. And
that's awesome.
They should have had some of the catering. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Right.
Got on the bus.
My favorite Def Leppard story, Pyromania. Crocus opened up.
Nice.
My dad was with me. I think one of my friend Chris was with me from when I lived in Liverpool. And they were my favorite band at the time. I love that album. And
awesome.
2 songs into Crocus, a dude 3 rows in front of me put his head like this, and we were on one end. He was facing the other way on the other end, like in the middle of the row, and he let everything go.
No.
All over the stairs.
Oh.
Nobody cleaned it during the show.
Talk
It
about
was there.
crocus.
People were stepping in it. We were warned.
Ugh.
It was the smelliest thing I've ever had to deal with. It almost made everybody around us puke.
Oh my God.
Uh,
That must
So
have been
definitely-
that must have been hysteria.
Now, before that, abortion of an apple, but we won't go there.
Did they pour some sugar on it?
That probably would have smelled better. All right, let's whip through. Let's whip through a couple here.
Okay.
Unless you got stories, stop me. Motorhead, no.
I've got stories for all of them.
That's why you're
Motorhead?
here.
Anybody
Motorhead?
else on? Anybody else on Motorhead?
Mm-mm.
I already mentioned them in Long Island. Masters of Metal tour that was, but they played another festival called Operation Rock and Roll with Alice Cooper again, with Metal Church,
This fucker took notes.
with Dangerous Toys,
Nice.
and who else was on that? There was somebody else on that, and I'm forgetting them.
Dangerous Toys
Motorhead,
played.
Alice Cooper, Dangerous Toys.
If I got to
Metal
see them,
Church,
I'd be
and there
sporting a
was one
Woody.
and I'm forgetting the other band. So yeah, that was the
Nice.
Weeds. That was fantastic.
That's awesome. Ozzy. A few times I've seen Ozzy. The best was the legendary one was at the War Memorial, obviously with Bobby. The Master of Puppets tour. They had all the crosses all over the stage and everything, just like the album cover. And the opening band was this not real well-known band. They were just starting out. I don't know if you heard of them. They're called Metallica with Cliff Burton playing bass.
Wow.
So we got to see him with Cliff play. So that was badass.
That's cool. I got
Yeah.
to see Ozzy at Ozfest with Pantera and Godsmack. They were the three big bands playing. I think POD too, but no one was even watching them.
Right.
And they had a band on one of the other stages. I don't know if Bob's heard of them, called Kitty. Kind of like a
I was
hardcore
at that
band,
Kitty.
all female. Yeah.
Saratoga Springs.
And yes. And the girl comes out and she goes, walks into the microphone, like the drop D chord, brrr, and they walk up. She goes, go. And I just put my arms like this, and my feet never touched the ground for about 20 to 30 seconds. And I was probably from where we started to where I ended up. I was probably 50 feet away.
Jesus.
I have
Found myself on the outside. I said, well, I'm going to walk over here and ignore that.
I wish I could send you a picture right now, but I'm not able to do so because I'm using my phone for this. But I have a picture from that show with me with the drummer and the guitar player for Kitty.
Oh,
Nice.
nice. Yeah, send it. I'll put it up.
Yeah.
Cool.
Shoot it over before we.
A little band you may have heard of named Disturbed opened that second stage that day.
Yeah. There were a lot of good
Nice,
bands on there
nice.
before they were, I won't say well known because they were pretty well known at the time, but not as well known as they are now. Now they're
Nice.
huge, a lot of them.
Alice Cooper, I've seen once. I saw him. I saw him open for Motley Crue on their their farewell tour before their exactly, their farewell tour before their comeback stadium stuff. So,
And he was with
And I
them
never-
on the comeback tour too. That's
and yeah, right. And it seems like Alice Cooper is like comes here all the time because he always comes to Utica or the surrounding areas or Rome or whatever But I only saw him that one time, and it was pretty cool. I would go again just to see Nita. We talked about her in that past shows.
Alice is awesome. I mean, I've
Alice
seen
Cooper's great.
time, so.
Yeah.
My best time was with one of my favorite times for a triple bill was with Sabbath and with Queensryche and Alice Cooper in Binghamton.
Nice.
Wow, that is a good card right there.
And it was
Holy
Tate
shit.
Wright
Nice.
because it was with Sabbath. So with Dio Sabbath, which they called Heaven and Hell, but I use that name. So
Right.
Biohazard. I don't know if I ever saw him. Maybe at the Lost Horizon at some point. I don't know. I used to go to Lost Horizon to see shows of sometimes the bands I didn't even know. I would either go with you or I would just go and just have bevies. Biohazard, anyone?
I think I did once. I think I did one because I remember Mike. Mike had a nickname for the lead singer, which I can't remember off the top of my head. But he just,
Pizza
whatever
Face?
reason, Mike did not like the guy, or
Mm.
like thought he was ridiculous or something. And just, I can't remember what the name. Maybe he was calling him Clutch or something. I don't know. It was just.
I saw
I just
that.
remember he had a funny nickname for him.
I saw him at a convention called Foundations Forum in
Mm.
California, and they were standing in line in front of me when we were waiting to get Rob Helford's picture. And I believe you have that picture. One of the guys from Biohazard turned around and said, "Oh, can you take our picture with him, man?" I'm like, "Sure." And he's
That's
actually
awesome.
one of the guys is in my picture with him too.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, we got that picture. We'll put up there.
For sure.
This is one probably that Ed's never seen. Queensryche.
Queen? I've seen
Queensryche.
Queen. No, no.
You know.
What was it? June 26th, 1995, Weedsport, New York. Typo Negative in Queensryche.
Oh, I was there. I got to tell you, I'm in the minority. Not a fan of Typo Negative. I don't know. I just didn't get them.
That's okay. They're an acquired taste.
I love
But my brother.
Promised Land tour.
Yeah. And my brother got in a fight with a guy because I was only 15 and we were right up against the wall and I was getting crushed. So my brother's like, all right, we got to go over the wall. And security guards were wicked nice to me the whole day we were there. They were bringing me sodas and hot dogs and shit. They were being cool to me because I was probably the youngest kid in the entire crowd that night.
Nice.
And so the one guy helped me over and then my brother went, was supposed to go right after me. And the guy said, go, ushers me down, if you've ever gone over the wall there. And I look back, and my brother's a big guy, but back then he was just kind of jacked, and he had one foot on the wall, and the other foot is just like savate kicking this guy in the face. And security are trying to pulling him down, and I'm like, what is happening? The security guard's like, go. I said go. So I wandered around aimlessly while they did the whole mine crime bit in the middle of the show without my brother because I couldn't find him. I saw the guy getting taken to the ambulance by the police. He had a towel over his face. And then I was like, oh crap, my brother's in jail. How am I gonna get home? I'm in Weedsport. Like, what am I gonna do? And I just went up in the stands, and all I could think of is, well, maybe I could find the guys from Jolly Roger, maybe they can give me a ride, or maybe I'll recognize Terry Leroy if I see him or something, because he's got to be here, right? These guys got to be here. And then my brother walked up to me, and I had this banner I made, and he was holding that, and he was crying. He's like, I thought I lost you. I thought something happened to you. I didn't know what I was going to tell Mom. And he was all upset. So then we sat there together.
He was upset because he lost you. And you're like, I just saw you put your footprint in that guy's face like 10 times. This is amazing.
Well, I guess the story was, as he went to go over the wall, this guy was like grabbing his shirt and stuff and trying to pull him back down. So Don went to pull himself up, and the dude, he said, pulled his shorts straight down, so his ass was just mooning the whole crowd. God. So he said he put one foot on the wall, reached back, pulled his shorts up, and just, went at the guy.
That's
Blue
awesome.
Moon.
Yeah, that's
the only time you've seen Queensryche?
That was the first time I saw him. Oh no, I saw him. Multiple times. I saw him again with one time Melissa Massir and I went and saw them in Pittsburgh during the American Soldier Tour. And they came out, they started the show with Newer Gal, which I hadn't seen them play that live since 95. This was in like 2009 maybe. But yeah, man, I've seen them multiple times. I've seen them at the casino. I've seen them with Todd LaTorre a couple times. Yeah.
I've seen them more than I've seen any band ever.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
100%.
What are your thoughts?
This guy brought me to see Jeff Tate one time. Out of the blue, just said, hey, there's one person that should be going to this show, and we got an extra ticket. It should be you.
Oh, look at that. There you guys are. There you guys are in the crowd right there, rocking it out.
Yep.
Where I got this shirt.
That's it.
Let me ask you this, because it's a topic, and we'll do a show on it at some point. You said you went to see them with Todd.
Mm-hmm.
How was that? What are your thoughts on that whole sitch?
It's all right. He's good. I'd
So
never
not
complain.
like, oh, I'm never gonna go see. Like I can watch as good as a singer for Skid Row can be. It's not Sebastian Bach. Like you do have that. Yeah, you got something like that going, or you're just like it is what it is.
I think maybe like when I first saw him do it live, I was like, all right, cool. He can hit a lot of the notes Jeff Tate can't anymore. That's cool.
Mm.
But like even now as he's getting older, now I'm starting to see a couple of cracks in his voice too, where he
Yeah.
can't, he's straining to hit those well. It just happens to everybody, man, as a singer,
Right.
But even now, if you go to
Todd
see
is
Jeff,
so good. Todd is
he is.
so good that he gets a pass on that
Yeah,
whole thing.
yeah. Oh my God,
You know?
yeah. And then you see Jeff, and it's just apples and oranges to me, Like
Yeah.
Jeff's not really so much a metal singer to me anymore as he once was, whereas Todd is, I guess. I think Jeff's just, he's more of a operatic, I think, than he is, screaming his nuts off, so to speak.
Hmm.
I think it's apples and oranges now,
Nice.
Put 1983 Jeff Tate against Todd LaTorre, and then we'll talk.
Yeah.
But
Right. I kind of feel that way, and I'll get off. Well, it's off track, but it's not because they're on the list. But it's kind of a weird example of what you just said. But like, I don't know if I ever even. Maybe I saw Foreigner once with Lou Gramm singing, but I think Kelly Hansen's such a great singer, and when I saw them with him singing, I don't know, man. He just has like it just seems to have way more stage presence and just because everybody else in the band's fucking old like us. No, not like us, like our grandfathers.
And Kelly's leaving the band. Kelly's
Yeah,
leaving, right?
I heard that. Yeah, but I'm just saying when I saw them, it was like almost like a fresh coat of paint. You know what I mean? It
mhm.
jazzed them up a little bit. So, all right, here we go. Next band on the list, Manowar. Born to Live Forevermore.
Answer for both.
Before what's that?
Answer for both of us.
Yeah, we may have seen them a couple times. Ad, have you ever seen Manowar?
I may have had a meal or two with him.
Really? What?
You saw them on foreign soil. So,
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, no shit. That's right. I didn't know you hung with those guys. That's awesome.
Yeah. Literally ate lunch with him, and
Nice.
Joey DeMeo's sushi chef was my bodyguard for the day.
That's great.
It's another true story.
Huh?
I was like, I
So
need to get
Bobby-
a pack of cigarettes. He opens up a fanny pack. He's like, what kind? And he's got like any kind of cigarette you want. I'm like, all right.
It's like the European trench coat.
Yeah.
I got this. I got this. I got this. Bobby and I have seen them multiple times at different venues. We so what's
time number
the
one.
first
The first
time number one was in I can tell you exactly when it was. It was in August of '87, and it was at the Lost Horizon, and it was not only our first time seeing them, but it was Bob and I's and a place that we literally could probably call our home away from home for years. It was our very first time ever stepping into the Lost Horizon. So it was our in that Lost Horizon, Syracuse, New York. That's a a famous, a classic, whatever you want to call it, a historic for our town rock club that just so many bands went through there over the years. And yeah, it was definitely experience. He turned me on to Manowar. Who turned you on to Manowar?
me.
Bobby. Yeah.
I bought Fighting the World on tape one day when I was in the store because I used to look at the front of tapes to see if I would like them or not. I'd look at the artwork and I said, well, I'll try this. And I bought it the same day I believe that I brought Dream Evil from Dio and Testament, The New Order. think I bought those 3 and maybe Exodus, Fabulous Disaster. I think I bought those 4 together. And the first one I put in, I said, I think my friend Mark said something about somebody that's in Manowar has a brother that goes to CNS with us.
And yes,
they're
yes, he did.
So I want to hear this thing. And from the first dooka 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 dooka, I was like, what the hell is this?
Billy, get your ass over here.
I said, I called you guys immediately. I said, you got, I heard, listen to the whole thing through. Like, this is nothing that I've ever heard before in my life. I don't know what the hell it is, but I like it.
He called an immediate a horseman emergency meeting. We all had it over. It's like, oh, we got everybody listen.
Mark said, I told you the guy's brother goes to school. He's in my grade.
Yep. So we went.
Eric Adams' brother.
The 2 opening bands that night were the direct support was Held Hostage. They're a local-ish band. They do some national stuff. Bill Ali is actually technically the singer for that band right now as we speak.
Yeah.
But they've been around forever. And they had
a regional radio. Yeah.
Yep. And then I don't want to say fun fact, but years ago, my boss Nikki, her dad was actually in Held Hostage. Her dad Don, and he was sick at the time. He has since passed. But we did a benefit in I think it was a bowling alley in Fulton, maybe the Lakeview or something. And in Brats and Blondes, my band at the time played at the benefit for her dad. So another tied to that band. And then the first opening band that night was a band called, let's see if you ever have heard of them, Ed, a band called Paris.
Yes. Yes, I have heard of Paris.
What do you know about them? You know anybody that was in the band?
Yes, I think I do.
The singer for the band Paris was Lee Anderson.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Who else was in that band?
You got me swinging. I don't know.
I'm sure we know all of them.
There's definitely people that we know that were in that band. It might have been like
someone else. It's not that I'm thinking, but it's not Lee.
Yeah, it was somebody else that played in local bands for years and stuff. Yeah, I'll find out. We'll update that on next week's show. Cause I just got to ask Delio and he'll tell me. Big Papa will know.
And we got a lot of smaller clubs in the area as they were warming up for their European or for their German tour.
Do you remember? And I don't remember where it was. I want to think maybe it was Auburn. Where was that bar where they played and it was like there was like windows behind them. Is that what it was?
It was in the Oswego. It was a college bar in Oswego.
And we were like, we were like, are they going to break these windows? Because literally they were in the Guinness book. They were in the Guinness Book of World Records at one time for loudest band in the world.
Yeah, the stage that we played on in Germany was recorded as the loudest stage at that time. It beat the record. They flew it in with helicopters, and it was the sound and stage that Metallica had used for their previous tour.
Okay.
And I guess Manowar just turned it up to 11. But
so they did shows that they didn't tell anybody about, but certain people heard about them and told us.
Yeah.
So it was
like a secret show because they were just doing shows to, like you said, to warm up for their stuff. So
one of them was like, wasn't it a bar in Phoenix, New York, or was it in Fulton? It was like an old man's bar, and it was just a little tiny stage. Do you remember?
I don't remember. I remember. I do remember them playing a little time. We found out. We were in the know, and we found out that stuff. So we traveled around.
They played in Wolcott, I believe, Fulton, and Oswego.
Wow.
I think we went. I remember the Fulton and the Oswego one we went to, but it was pretty badass. Here's another story.
Here's Saxon. One you saw. You saw them.
Saxon. Bobby and I went to see we went to see the headliner. I did at least. But Raven, Saxon opened up for Wasp. at Nowhere City in East Syracuse.
Wow.
Yeah, remember?
It was a
No,
juice bar.
it was like a what was it?
It was a juice bar for like
Yeah, it was
under.
like a teen. It was like a teen bar for kids, and all of a sudden, wait,
Wasp
they're
is
playing
playing.
where? And it was like, what is that on Bridge Street, right? I don't know what
What
it
year
turned
was
into.
this? What
Oh,
It was the
version of
boy.
Wasp?
inside the Electric Circus tour, 87,
All
I
right.
think.
If
Yeah.
there's gonna be a
7 or 8.
safer one, it would be that one. I would, but that's still
Yeah,
not.
oh yeah. He did. No, hold on. He did still because we were wondering. We're like, is he gonna? Is he gonna? Oh, he had the razor. He had the crotch piece on. He had the blade. He had the blade
Shot
as the
the
crotch
spark.
piece on. That was great. And literally, we were right in front of him. We were right down in front. It was awesome. That was great.
Story about that show is as soon as he got out and hit 3 chords, somebody in the front row spit on him.
Yeah.
What?
And he was like, who did that?
Yeah.
Was fucking us. Don't touch us.
Jeez.
But Saxon, it's about Saxon. So we'll talk about Saxon. They were so loud that they blew the sound system 3 times.
Ooh.
Now, whether that was they really blew the sound system or they quote
Was that their
unquote,
gimmick? Was that their gimmick
Yeah,
to put him over?
could
Or
have
what?
been a gimmick. I think back to it and I'm like, it could have been a gimmick. I don't think it was. I think that place was not set up for a show. So
Yeah.
It was wild. That was a fun time.
Set up for a 10-year-old's birthday party, but not a Saxon Wasp show.
In my late teens, man, we did some. We saw some good shit. I'll tell you that.
Saxon, Eddie,
No. Never saw Saxon.
I'm willing to bet the next one is a no for every one of us.
Girls' school. No. Does it?
No.
Wait, do I get any points if I saw Brittany Fox perform "Girls' School" the song?
I was trying to come up with a way to say it.
I have a feeling that counts. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, then it counts for me too.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
'Cause I saw Brittany Fox twice. Once with Lita Ford and Poison, and I saw them once at the Lost Horizon on their own.
I remember that one. I was there. All right, here we go. I know Ed's answer to this. Doro?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Ah yeah.
Oh yeah. Son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. Still out there rocking to these days. To these
Mhm.
days? To this day, I should say.
Did you see my brother's story about when she got off stage and gave my brother a hug and she's like, "You're like a big teddy bear. I just want to take you home."
Oh my God.
And I'll bet
Yeah.
you like that. I don't
Okay.
have a problem with that.
I mean, we can go.
Yeah.
That's fine. I mean, I got nowhere to be. I just got to go kick this guy in the face real quick, go find my lost brother, and then we're ready to go.
And then we're off.
If you could just help
That
me
was-
find my brother, maybe we can give him a ride home and then we can just go hang out, you know?
So that was in Germany. Was it in Germany or
Yeah.
was it?
Germany, yeah.
So you saw her on her home turf. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Saw her at BB King's Blues Club in New York City. And
Nice.
Chris Cafferty opened up. Chris Caffrey. Do I say his last name right? It's Caffrey, not
Caffrey.
Caffrey.
Yeah.
Brown band.
I was going to say, is the
Yes.
Beaver Brown Band
Chris
going to be there?
Cafferty in the pre- He took over for John.
I always do that.
John doesn't want to tour anymore. I'll send my cousin out. My
Look for the
cousin
guy
Chris.
from Sabotage to do it.
Chris Caffrey from Sabotage and Trans-Siberian. He opened up for her, and he ended up playing guitar for her too that night.
That's cool.
Nice.
So that was cool.
Nice. Soundgarden. I think I saw Soundgarden play. I don't remember where. I think I did though. I don't know. Did I see
I
him?
wish I did.
I saw him at Lollapalooza at SPAC with Pearl Jam and Ice Cube,
I
Ministry,
definitely was not there for that.
Jesus and Mary Chain. Pearl Jam was the headliner, obviously, and the place got crushed up pretty big.
Machine Head.
No.
No,
But
it's a no
I
for
did
me.
record vocals for the guy that played with the Machine Head. I think he was like the rhythm guitar player, maybe.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Yeah. I found him on Facebook. He had put up like a picture from the movie The Wrestler. And he just had, it was MySpace actually. It wasn't even Facebook, it was MySpace. Because you could play the songs on his page. And he had these demos he did. And
Nice.
I was like, hey, you mind if I sing to these? I'm a big wrestling fan, and we talked wrestling for a while, and I've since reconnected with him, and he sent me some more music, so I might
That's
do some more
awesome.
stuff with him. But yeah, and I never really listened to Machine Head. I never really told him that. But so if he's watching,
I,
sorry, buddy.
I just got.
But he
I just
also
got.
played with Whitfield Crane.
Nice. From Don't Tell Me. It's the I don't really care about your sister. No, God damn it! What's their name? Don't tell me. I said don't tell me. Oh damn it! He told me. Yeah, it took me a while.
Sorry.
You just Bobby's got a story about Machine Head, but just real quick, when you brought up MySpace, I got totally nostalgic. That's where I met my good friend Tom on MySpace.
Me
I don't
too.
know if you guys ever knew him. Oh, you knew him too.
Or you
Of course,
did.
we used to hang.
bet
Yeah, we hung.
I bet I knew him
Yeah.
better. I did.
Tom was great.
He was
great.
everyone's first friend. I
He was.
feel.
You know what?
You feel it right here.
He was an everybody's
My
friend
friend.
guy kind of guy.
Yeah, he really was.
He was
What a
not like
smile.
that. Not like that fucking Zuck.
Yeah.
He zucked it all up for everybody.
Where was that celebrity death match?
I know
All right,
somebody that Facebook profile picture, and it's our friend from MySpace.
really? That's awesome. That's awesome. You saw Machine Head, you said, Bobby?
Foundations Forum in Burbank, California.
Nice.
The thing is, they went on after Raven. They were set to play the bigger stage. Raven had gotten back together to do this show for the first time. They hadn't been together in like 20 years. Dee Snider was over watching Raven. Roy Costin, our buddy, was the roadie for this show. So Dee Snider's over there on the side, and he's looking over at the big stage. And I look over to see what Dee's looking at, and a couple of the roadies from Machine Head are making fun of Raven, telling him, get off the stage, flipping him off and stuff. So Dee went, I saw him do this. He runs over the stage. You know how Dee Snider is.
Yeah.
He runs over to the stage, puts his arm around both guys, and I can't even imagine what the conversation must have been. They didn't make a peep the rest of the set. That's all.
Nice. Good for him.
That's awesome. Here's one that this one's going to be another no for Bobby. I know. King Diamond. Yeah. You probably never saw him. No. How many times? Three. Wait,
and one with Merciful Fate.
I think I saw him, but I don't remember where. Maybe. I don't know. Was I with you at any of those shows or no?
Probably the Lost Horizon. Flotsam and Jetsam opened and Destruction.
Yeah. Yep. I was there. I remember that for sure.
And then I saw him in Toronto, and I saw him in Rochester, and I saw him with Merciful Fate in Rochester with Bill Bodley, who now plays bass for Flotsam and Jetsam, who opened up for him, King Diamond at the Loft. So there's 2 points of Bill Bodley.
Yeah, exactly. 2 degrees to Bill. 2 degrees of Bill Bodley.
2 degrees. That's what I meant. 2 degrees of.
That's
Bill
awesome. Death. Yes. Of course you did. That's why he's on the show with us.
Yeah.
Of course you did. All right, let's cut through half this next list, and we'll do our fuck it. We'll just keep going. Why not? Iron Maiden, of course. Wait, Bob, let me ask you this. Who played with, and we're going to get to them. They're on the list down there, but who played with, I'll ask in a couple minutes. Never mind. Iron Maiden, I don't believe I ever did. I may have. I know that sounds weird to not know if I've seen Iron Maiden play, but I just don't remember. And I didn't smoke weed or anything. Back then, I just don't remember. I got a bad memory on some stuff. At Iron Maiden?
Yes, I saw them at Darien Lake with such a good lineup with Rob Halford and Queensryche opening up.
Nice.
For Iron Maiden. And it was Wicker Man tour.
I saw that tour. Was there when Dickinson came back.
Yeah. And it was cool, man. That was
Brave
a good show.
Brave New World, right?
Yeah.
Wicker Man was
they had like a giant wicker like statue, and at the end of it, it opens up, and there were like two topless women in there. And
Oh.
like he walks in with him, puts his arms around him, says his whole goodbye. The thing closes, and then it goes up in flames.
And then
It was
that's it.
so killer.
That's great. That's
The
awesome.
end. That was the end.
I saw that tour at Madison Square Garden with Bill Ali, actually.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
And I saw
Is
them
that
in
when-
Rochester, and I saw them in Buffalo at the KeyBank Center
When
recently.
that show you just said that you saw with Bill, was that when he was living in Connecticut?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember he lived in Connecticut for a while, and then these guys, he would just go meet Bill, and they would just go to shows. I was like, this is okay. All right, you guys are fucking hardcore. Let's go.
Oh,
Let's go. Scorpions. I've seen them a couple times. One time was the Big O show me and Bobby went to the day before our high school graduation. No. The day before our final day of final exams. We went to the Monsters of Rock tour in Buffalo, New York, and the Scorpions were on the bill. And that whole show was fucking great. And then we sat out because we're idiots. We sat out and I have pictures of this. We sat out in the sun, obviously all day. It's at Rich Stadium in Buffalo. And then the next day we went to we went to do our finals. We went to do our final exams for high school. And then I think that night we went to a wrestling show because I have pictures of us at the wrestling show with our Monsters of Rock shirts. And of course, we're wearing them because of you wear your concert shirt the next day that you get it. And we're Red Lobsters. Oh my God, it was so
True
painful.
definition of Road Warriors right there.
So painful, but so worth it.
I never saw Scorpions, but I
never
did
saw Scorpions?
play with Michael Schenker, our group in Germany.
nice.
Of course you
And
did.
I'm not going to
I'm
say
going to say
who.
that to both of you. Of course you did. Of course you did.
I'm not going to say who at our table said it or why. I don't even know why, but I'll never forget looking over and eating lunch and going, wonder what kind of sandwich he's eating. I'm like, really, dude? Like, you're really worried about what kind of sandwich Michael Schenker's eating right now?
That's awesome.
Joey DeMayo's right there getting a massage right in front of us. We're all sitting at this table together, and you're looking across the room going, I wonder what he's eating on his sandwich.
That's great.
Yeah. Funny memory I'll never forget.
White Snake multiple times. War Memorial, Weedsport. I saw them. This just popped in my head. I saw them within the past handful of years, I think, maybe a little bit longer. Didn't they play at the Amp? I think they played at the Amp at some point.
They played with somebody else at the Amp, I think.
Yeah, they did. I
they
can't remember who it was.
Was it Def Leppard?
Maybe.
It could have
I
been.
know they toured. I know they toured a couple times together.
Yeah, I think it was maybe Def Leppard. I know I saw Def Leppard, REO, and Tesla, like I said, at the Amp, but I think they played again. Was Whitesnake on that? Oh, you know what? No, it was REO for sure, because I remember.
The best time was with Steve Vai, though, right?
Nice.
Flip of the Tongue tour.
Steve Vai. And then your boy plays with him to this day, Vivian. Right? Still plays with him? Doesn't play with him anymore?
Now, but he was in Whitesnake at the time. Yeah.
Vivian was in forever though, wasn't he?
He was in for a long time.
Yeah.
Not as long as he's been a Def Leppard. He's been a Def Leppard forever.
No. That's what I'm sorry. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking Def Leppard. He's in Def Leppard still, right?
Yes.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. He's been in there. He's been with those guys.
But he was in Whitesnake. You're not wrong.
Yeah. But I was thinking when I was saying that, I was thinking because we mentioned Def Leppard and yada yada. Okay, Judas Priest. Yes, I definitely saw them live at least once. I think maybe that might be the only time. It was at the War Memorial, and this concert is significant to me because Bob, who worked at a radio station at the time, got into a fist fight with somebody that worked at another radio station. Do you remember this, Bob? Would you like to tell part of the story?
That wasn't Judas Priest. That was Doc and White Snake and Scorpions.
Are you sure? I always thought it was
Yeah,
Judas
100%
Priest.
honest.
I think
Judas
you
Priest.
remember the concert of your first fist fight.
Judas Priest was the day of the snowstorm. Remember that? And we left.
Oh, that's
Megadeth
right. Wait,
opened
who?
for Judas
Megadeth.
Priest.
I was gonna say. Okay, that's right. I knew there was something significant about it. There was a big storm that day. Yeah, yeah. But I remember going there. All of a sudden, I don't know, rival radio stations, and all of a sudden, Lippy. All of a sudden, blah, 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 like, what is going on here?
That's
I try to
awesome.
forget that.
They got
That was
kicked out.
one of my
That's
better
awesome.
moments.
Uh,
But it was funny. It's a good story.
It was a great
Yeah,
story.
in retrospect,
I wish I
yeah.
would have. I wish I would have told it right, but you know. Slayer. I don't think I ever saw Slayer. No, Bobby.
Clash of the Titans tour with Megadeth, Anthrax, and Alice in Chains.
Wait, was that at Wheatsport?
Yep.
I did see him. I did because I did go to that. I know I went to see Anthrax, and yeah, so I saw Slayer. Okay, I'll put him on my list.
was that the show that
Chains. So
was that the show that Lane Staley tried to pick a fight with a Nazi?
yes, he tried to
Okay.
fight with almost everybody because people were throwing rocks at them.
Oh my
Yeah.
god!
Yeah, some guy was roughing up his girl, and then he said, "Meet me around the side here, and I'm gonna kick your ass." And then he got off the stage and walked around the side where the
Jesus.
gate is. Yeah.
He went to go meet him.
And, yeah.
So you were there.
And then no, you can find it. You can find it on YouTube. You can find the video of it.
Okay.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's circulating. It went viral there for a while after he died. It's pretty funny.
And now all the people that threw the rocks at them own all their entire catalog. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's the funny thing about it. I liked him
Yeah.
at the time. I liked the first album, Facelift. So
Mm-hmm.
Next band, UFO.
No.
Never
UFO.
saw him. You never saw him?
Nope. Lights
Really?
out. And never saw him.
Ed, you ever see UFO?
Ed Trunk maybe, but no, I haven't.
Ed Trunk? Maybe.
Ed Trunk, probably. Good chance.
That's amazing. Lost my list. All right, here it is. Van Halen. I saw them a couple times. I never saw Van Halen with David Lee Roth singing. Nope. I can't hear you. Where's your sound?
I was quiet.
Oh, okay. I was like, he's yelling at me, but he's not really mad because I can't
He
hear
was
him.
speechless.
I was.
I never saw Van Halen with David Lee Roth. I saw David Lee Roth a few times solo, but I saw Van Halen a couple times. It was always with Sammy singing. Oh no, the headliner for the Monsters of Rock tour that we went to, by the way.
Yep. I saw that version then, and I saw 1984 at the Dome. My dad took me to it. It was David Lee Roth's birthday.
Oh, nice.
Out of a cake, and that show also very notable because Sebastian Bach mentions that's the show that made him realize he wanted to do that for people. He said, I was in front of 30,000 people at the Dome in Syracuse, New York, watching Van Halen.
That's awesome. That's badass.
Yeah, it is.
Well, what year was that?
It was 84.
84. Okay. So 5 years later, Sebastian Bach is in the same dome with Skid Row opening up for Bon Jovi. 1989. How about that? He's like, hey, this place looks familiar. This place looks familiar. Here's one we could probably just skip over. Nobody's ever seen this guy. Who'd this guy ever beat? Dio. How many times?
Who's that?
Countless.
Who's that?
Oh yeah, who that?
Who dat?
Countless times. I'm sure you saw him. I gotta tell you,
probably most of the time with you.
Yes.
Sacred Heart.
Bob and I have a great story. Bob and I have a great story about our trip to Poughkeepsie to go see him.
Poughkeepsie with Love Hate Opening Up and Godhead. Yes. We
What?
went to a nice place before the show.
Yes, we did.
Oh
But do you
boy.
remember the? Wait, do you remember the drive and the fork in the
I
highway
remember.
on our way? We got into a screaming match at each other because I was telling him he was going the wrong way. He's like, "No, it's not. Yes, it is. You're going the wrong way." Ah! And then he was right. And then, then we just like went back to not being mad.
Those
That's so
moments
dumb.
always happen though, like because if you go the wrong way, you're like fucked for like miles. You know, you
Right,
can't just turn
right.
around. So
I
yeah, I've
remember.
been there.
Was it the Chance? Is that where it was?
Yes.
The Chance at Poughkeepsie, Dio, and it was my
Love
first
Hate.
time. My first time, I think, only time seeing Love Hate play, and they
And
were
God-
fucking great.
A band
They
Oh,
were
called
yeah.
great. Who?
A band called Godhead.
Okay. Love
Yeah,
Hate
Love
was
Hate
awesome. Yeah.
drummer. Their new
I never
stuff is
got-
good. I don't know if you've heard his new stuff.
I have not. No.
Izzy's got a new version of Love Hate out there, and it's really good.
Really?
I saw.
Dio, we're on Dio, right? I've
Oh
seen
yeah, we're on. Dio.
Yeah, we're on.
second
Yeah, yeah.
most of it, but second most, next to Queensryche.
That's,
And that's
of
only
course.
because past, or I would have seen him more, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bob was there. Bob was there when they. I don't know. I was going to use the word coronated. Bob was there when they
Dedicated.
dedicated the street name to him, DOA in Cortland.
Yeah. In fact, Bob and I stopped there on our way home from that last Jeff Tate show we went to
Really?
together. We took a
Ah.
detour and we
Hey,
stopped and took pictures of the
Does
Dio
it still
sign.
exist? Does DOA still exist?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll put
I
a
gotta
picture
go.
up of it. I got the picture. But
That's
yeah, I
awesome.
never got
That's
to see
great.
Dio. That's disappointing for me. The closest I got to see Dio was Queensryche playing at the Turning Stone, and they did a duet song on their Mind Crime 2 album, Jeff and Ronnie James, and they had on the big screen like a video of
Chase.
him singing his part.
The
So
Chase.
Nice. That's awesome.
So, but he wasn't there. But I was fortunate enough to play at both of his tribute shows. I sang Neon Nights at one, and then I played guitar in a couple of tunes for
That's
the
great.
second year. So I guess I got to.
Did you ever?
Obviously, my favorite of all time. It goes
Of
without
course,
saying.
obviously.
Yeah.
Did you ever see?
know.
I don't even know. Was it ever a thing? I don't know if it was just something that was talked about. The hologram thing. Was that ever an actual tour or anything?
It was a tour twice, and I did not get to see it.
No.
I would have gone just to go, but people didn't like it. So, and then I almost said Sharon. Oh my God, Wendy didn't like it, and of course Sharon didn't like it. She doesn't like the name Dio, but Wendy didn't like it. So she said that we're not doing it ever again.
Did you ever see? Ed, did you ever see the? I know Bob did, but did you ever see the Dio documentary? I think it was on Showtime.
No, I don't think I did.
Dude, it is such a good watch. So good. I think Nick, did you watch that with me? I know I watched that when we were a few years ago. Did you watch that Dio documentary with me, or did I watch it on my own? Oh, he's sleeping. Never mind.
We gotta zoom through some of these.
Yeah, let's zip through. Let's fly through because we still got some other stuff we got to do here. Megadeth. I know. I saw Megadeth. They played at the War Memorial. It was during a snowstorm, and it was with Judas Priest. And it was the night that Bob did not get into a fight with that other DJ.
Yes.
Yeah. See, I remember.
I've seen
Yeah,
Megadeth probably the third number of times that I've seen anybody because they always open for somebody, or it's like on the Gigantour or Clash of the Titans tour.
I saw him play. I think I saw him play at Weed Sport too. I don't remember who else was on the bill or whatever.
Yeah, you did.
I don't think any of us ever saw Led Zeppelin, but it was before our time.
Before our time.
Yeah. GNR multiple times. Not a lot, but like maybe like 3-4 times.
To be honest, I don't ever care if I do. No, I have not. I have not seen them.
You never saw Guns N' Roses?
Never seen them.
What?
Nope. Don't have any interest.
I mean, one more time. What?
Sorry.
Kiss. I saw him. I saw Guns N' Roses like I don't know where it was. It was a stadium somewhere. I can't remember. It wasn't like recently. It was a long time ago. Kiss, obviously, multiple times.
Mhm.
I never saw them like back in the day, but I saw them. I saw their. Oh my God, their farewell tour was just a tearjerker. And then after that, I saw them on the reunion tour, and then
How was the drive to the reunion tour? How was the drive?
what's
Did you have
that?
to stop anywhere for the drive?
I don't remember. Refresh my memory. I'm an old man. Oh wait, was that in Buffalo? No, what was that? What are you
Was
talking
it
about?
on the way to Buffalo? It sure was.
Is that when we had to pull over and I was asleep and I was sleeping? This motherfucker.
I had to use
We're
the porta potty.
driving. We're
I'm sorry.
driving. And of course, typical me, I fall asleep in the car, because it's the middle of the day. Of course you're gonna fall asleep. So all of a sudden I'm like, I wake up and I'm like, the car stopped, and I'm like, Bob's not in the car, he's the driver. And I'm like, what's going on? What's happening? And I'm like, roll down my window, I'm like, Bob. All of a sudden I hear in the distance, way back yonder, there's a porta potty way back there. I mean, you gotta go and you gotta go.
Was I gone for a minute?
What?
Was I gone for a minute?
No.
No. Okay, good.
You were
Because
gone out of the car taking a shit for more than a minute.
something happened
But
with
if
my
you met on the camera, no.
camera
Yeah.
phone.
He came back. I'm like, can you at least give a brother a heads up? Wake up and you're nowhere to be found.
My friend, that was funny. That was
it's funny.
wild. I had to go.
It's hilarious.
Just a series of confusions there.
And it was a rest area, not a stop area. So it was a damn porta potty of all things. Oh boy.
Good stuff.
Good
Yeah, I
stuff
saw
is great.
Kiss. That was my first concert ever. Again,
What-
Weedsport,
what
New York.
tour? Oh,
Hot in the Shade. Yeah. I was 10 years old. Same
Nice.
story, same scenario, except this time my sister was there, her friends, three of my brother's buddies, like Jimmy was there, my buddy Jimmy. And Dana Strum, Slaughter opened up for him, and Dana Strum threw his bass pick, and it hit me right in the chest and hit the ground. So I went down to get it, and this older guy, I mean, I'm 10. This guy had been in his like mid-20s, late 20s, punches me right in the stomach.
Oh my
And then
God.
I just see it go. And my sister, my little sister, she's not my little sister, she's my older sister, but she's small, pulls the guy up by his hair and punches him in the nose, and he just falls back into the crowd. And I'm like, holy shit, Christy. Like,
Hey,
These
you've got a very violent family.
These fucking carpenters,
you
man.
would think,
Jesus.
right? She was like, she was like, a drama club girl and everything. It was like probably like the most craziest thing I've ever seen her do. But I'm like, hey,
That's awesome.
I got Dana Strum's pick, and my sister won her first fight, so it was kind of
That's
cool on
great.
both ends.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
But that's my brother always says it was the curse of Weedsport. Something always happened at Weedsport.
always.
Can't bring Eddie to Weedsport.
That's awesome.
I saw them on Creatures of the Night tour with a Night Ranger opening. And the sad thing is, we didn't have the internet back then, so I didn't know Ace was not with them anymore.
Oh boy.
And
Oh,
he
wow.
was my favorite. That's the main reason I wanted to go. And so I got there and I heard people behind me talking about it. And I said, what do you mean? They're like, no, he got into a car accident. He's not with them anymore. They got this guy named Vinnie Vincent filling in.
Huh.
And that just like killed me for the whole. It was a great show, though. I got to admit, Vinnie Vincent did very well. I was like, are you sure that's not a girl?
Say that to them. Look at Vinny. Pull up a picture of Vinnie Vincent right now. Like you could still say, are you sure that's not a girl? Are you sure that's not Victoria Vincent?
Isn't that my kindergarten teacher?
Yeah.
But yeah, I gotta admit they were good, and I love that album. So.
The Psycho Circus tour was awesome. I don't know. I like that album.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I liked it a lot.
Is that when it got displaced because it was supposed to be at the Dome and they moved it to the War Memorial?
Yep.
I think that was the tour I saw him on at the War Memorial. It was either that or it might have been like the reunion show. No, it would have been. I think it would have been Psycho Circus. It was still a killer show, though.
I know when I said it with the farewell tour, that was the first farewell tour. So I'm
Yeah,
on
I
that.
know.
Then they came back with the reunion one, and then they came back with the Psycho Circus one. So
Because
I went to all of them.
I was trying to look up the date of the show I went to, and one of them said 2000, and I'm like, nah, I was old enough to drink when I saw this show, you know.
Mm.
So I didn't know what year it was. I, like you said, I couldn't remember farewell or reunion or.